Have you ever found yourself in this situation? You spend $15 on a movie ticket, but just 10 minutes into the film, you realize it's incredibly boring. Yet, you stay in your seat and watch until the end because you think, I've already paid for the ticket, and leaving now would be a waste. This is the sunk cost fallacy at work. The time, money, or effort you've already spent is irrecoverable. But we often let these past investments trap us into continuing, digging ourselves even deeper. Let me show you how this plays out in different areas of life. Let's start with a common example, shopping. Ms. T walks into a furniture store and sees a sofa on sale for $999. It's elegant, but she's unsure if it will fit her home. The salesperson smiles and says, "Today is the last day of the discount. You can pay a $100 deposit to lock in the price and take your time deciding." Thinking $100 isn't much. I don't want to lose the chance. Ms. T pays the deposit, but when she gets home, she realizes the sofa doesn't fit her space or style. Still, she tells herself, I've already paid $100. Not buying it would be a waste. In the end, she spends the remaining $899 on a sofa that doesn't suit her home. This is a classic example of the sunk cost trap. Ms. T didn't want to waste the $100 deposit she had already paid, so she chose to spend even more, despite knowing it wasn't the right decision. The $100 deposit is already gone and irrecoverable. The decision should have been based on whether the sofa truly adds value to her home, not on the deposit already paid. While this is a small-scale example, the sunk cost fallacy also influences bigger financial decisions like investments. Mr. J owns 2 stocks. Stock A, purchased at $10 per share and now worth $15 per share. Stock B, purchased at $10 per share but now worth $5 per share. Mr. J decides to sell stock A to lock in his profits and hold on to stock B, hoping it will recover to its purchase price and avoid a loss. This is a common mistake. Decisions shouldn't be based on past gains or losses, but on the future potential of each choice. If stock B has no potential to rise in the future, it should be sold. And if stock A still has room to grow, it's worth holding on to. Past gains or losses are already sunk costs. The key to making better financial decisions lies in focusing on future potential, not past results. But the sunk cost fallacy isn't just about money. It can also affect how we think about time and effort. Take Mr. Y, for example. He's a third-year college student. He realizes his major doesn't align with his interests or career goals. But he tells himself, I've already spent 3 years on this. Switching now would waste all that effort. This is another example of the sunk cost fallacy, but instead of money, it's time and effort. Even when we know a path isn't right, we often stick to it to avoid feeling like we've wasted our past efforts. However, the real question is, will continuing down this path lead to a better future? If changing majors could bring greater satisfaction and opportunities, starting over might actually be the smarter choice. Finally, let's look at how the sunk cost fallacy played out in a famous historical case, the Concorde. Imagine you're the CEO of an airline. You've invested $90 million into developing a superplane, and the project is 90% complete. But then you discover your competitors' planes are faster, cheaper, and more efficient, while your design is already fixed. What do? Do you invest the remaining $10 million to finish the project? Or cut your losses now to avoid wasting even more? This scenario has been tested in a famous psychological experiment. Researchers found that if participants weren't told about the $90 million already spent, only 17% chose to complete the project. But when they were told about the previous investment, 85% were inclined to keep going. This was the real dilemma faced by the UK and France during the development of the Concorde, a supersonic passenger plane. Despite cost overruns, high fuel consumption, and limited market demand, they kept funding the project because they couldn't let go of the money already invested. The Concorde became a historic failure because decision-makers focused on sunk costs instead of asking whether the future benefits justified further investment. From shopping to investments, education, and even large-scale projects, the sunk cost fallacy can affect decisions in all areas of life. So how can we avoid this trap? To avoid the sunk cost fallacy, we need to focus on marginal costs and future benefits. Here are 3 key principles to guide your decisions. 1. Ignore past costs. They're gone and irrecoverable. Focus on what lies ahead. 2. Evaluate marginal benefits. Does the next step justify the cost? 3. Start fresh. Ask, if I were starting from zero, would I still make this choice? Letting go of the past and focusing on the future is the key to wise decision-making. Remember, sunk costs belong to the past, but your decisions shape the future. After all, there's no use crying over spilled milk. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.